Welcome back to the channel, Cosmic here, and today we're going to be talking about Shadowverse Evolve as we are 1 week away from its official launch. And, well, I just want to put together a video that talks about the top resources you need to know so you can hit the ground running with the game. Now, for those that have been following the Japanese meta, you kind of already know what I'm going to talk about in this video or can expect it, but I wanted to treat this as people who have not figured out anything for the game yet. Maybe this is the first video you're ever watching on Shadowverse Evolve, and I want to make sure that you're covered and kind of bring you up to speed on where those like myself that have been following the Japanese meta for a year and a half now, or just under a year and a half, I guess I should say, just have the top 3 things that you need to know. So again, the first 2 are yes, must know, and the third is just, well, we got to look good while we're doing it, so that's what the third one's going to be. So 1 week away, what are the most important things to dig into? So, of course, the very first thing I have to mention, because everyone's going to be talking about it, is what is the meta? What should I play? What is important? So, for all of these, sites or deals and what have you, I'm going to have links to them down in the pinned post. So, the pinned comment, just make sure you know that you can have a quick resource to get back to it. And again, bookmark this stuff. It's going to be super helpful, and it really is just going to shape so much of where the game goes in the following, months and up to a year ahead. So, I will say that yes, I will be doing more stuff next week. I will add like extra deck lists to the videos I'm going to, plan on doing. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. But I really just want to make sure you kind of knew what to expect. And there's also kind of a major disclaimer that I have to add here. So very quickly, here is what the site's going to look like. Yes, there is going to be, the breakdown, a bunch of lists. If you click into these, obviously, I'm a Dragoncraft main, so I'm very excited that how good Dragon is in set 1. And I want to say something really quick, because I know there's a lot of comments on what do I buy, what do I sell, and whatnot. So come here real quick. Do not sell your bell ringers, okay? That's it. I had to make sure we get that out of the way. If you're following us from the Battle Spirit Saga side of things, you know just how absolutely insane Absolute Ice Shield was. Well, guess what? Bell Ringer, or this card right here, is this version's Absolute Ice Shield. It's a neutral card. It sees a lot of play between set 1 and set 2. I think set 3 is when it started to fall off in some lists, but at least early on, this is not everybody, but 90% of the field must play this card. That number might be an actual a little bit high, but I really want to stress this point, right? It is going to be, yes, it's only, it's not like an X rare or really hard to open. It falls in the same rarity tier as it did with Absolute Ice Shield, but again, it's a neutral card. Everybody's going to want 3 of them. Everyone's going to want the evolved form. At least 1 copy is usually what people do, right? But you need the base form of this because you just really want it as a blocker and draw card. So please make sure you hold on to this card. If you got nothing else in this video, do not sell this for like $10. I hate to say it, but I'm almost positive we're going to see a buyout that happens on this because people, if you know sort of thing, right? Same with like Merlin might get bought out randomly. There are cards that, as you go through this website and as you go through different lists, you'll see like, oh, hey, this card, this card, this card, this card, and this card all kind of get, played out in later meta. So I will do that in a later video. This is going to be more of just like a site that you're going to want to bookmark because you're going to keep coming back to it and you're going to keep going through these lists. Now, I did mention a disclaimer, so I do have to add that here, right? So if we go back to the top, Metaport tier archives, there is this little disclaimer right here. So Uma Mumase is not coming, or I should say, at the time of this recording, Uma is not coming to the global audience, which is great because if you know anything about what it did to the meta, yeah, this does not exist. Just ignore that. There is a huge issue with the format in that this made a tier 0 meta. The pure Uma decks that came out of this were extremely toxic, very, very bad for the game, very bad for the game health. Japanese players will tell you it was bad for the game health. It was a disaster. So, good news is we don't have to worry about this in the global version, at least again at the time of this recording and based on distributor information, that is not going to be a thing. Now, the downside, right? So we have Dawn of Genesis, this tier list is going to be great. We have the Bahamut set, or Reign of Bahamut, it's going to be called for the global audience. That drops in September. This tier list is still going to be very, very good. There's also Grand Prix events. That's like the big difference between set 1 to set 2 is set 2 now had, official events to it. And the set 2 meta was actually really good. So I'm really more excited for set 2 than set 1 personally. But then after that, this doesn't exist. So with Uma not being a major role player, thankfully, in the Western version or global version of Shadowverse Evolve, if we look towards Flame Leviathan, some of this just doesn't matter. And if we go into some of these deck lists, and I haven't looked this far to Aggro Hero, so this might be a bad example, but okay, doesn't matter. There are cards in here that will not exist in the global version. So there might be a case where we start to see this kind of restructure of the format in terms of what's good and what's bad, because some decks will be missing these key pieces in UMA. Now, that said, I do hope we get some of the other collab stuff that's coming down the line eventually. Like they got Code Geass. I know Idol Masters is cool for some people that want it, but again, they need to walk this fine line of like, don't almost kill the game like they did with UMA, because, well, they just decided to crank up the power creep level way too high. So set 1 and set 2, really great metas. Well, maybe set 1 a little bit less because of how good Shenlong is. Set 2, very, like, this meta is going to be so nice to play. I'm very, very excited for Reign of Bahamut. And then Dawn of Genesis is just a great introduction set because the cards from this set are so good still a year and a half later that you don't feel bad for picking up like craft splits because you're going to keep using this stuff. Same with like the starter decks and whatnot. So that is like the meta side out of the way. There's a lot more to talk about this in a future video. I just want to try to get a video out before I go down to Ohio this weekend for a major tournament to introduce players to some of these different websites and resources to hopefully, you know, get yourself acquainted with it over the next week when you have time. Maybe talk to your LGS about it and talk about, hey, I really want to sign up for events, which is a great segue into the next point. Yay, shop events got updated. So yes, this is officially updated as of today. However, there's not a lot of information out there for whatever reason. So we have both the weekly shop tournaments, also the championship events, which are going to be listed, which are like store championships, just to give the Bondi equivalent. And then also until July 14th, I believe someone said the date is, your stores can sign up for the regional qualifiers. So if you want to play Shadowverse Evolve, and if you want to make sure you have a store championship that can qualify you to go play in regionals, right? Because you have to qualify at the LGS level first. There is no open regionals for this game, similar to like Magic's, you know, system. You need to talk to your LGS. And that brings us to the second resource that I want to talk about was Bushy Navi. So this is something that you'll have to make an account for. Obviously, I'm logged in under mine. It's exactly like BTCG Plus. Again, for those that, again, largely are following this channel now for Bondi games, I'm still be doing a lot of BSS stuff. I just want to like get this video out there. Yeah, it's as frustrating as using BTCG Plus for the first time, but it took me like an hour and a half to learn, and I totally get it. It's just a new system, right? You're going to have to get used to it, but it's easy from there. So the one thing I will say is once you create an account, right, you want to click on these shop tournaments and stuff. It's really nice. You can just go for a search for the event series, and you can start to see some of this listed. Now, huge disclaimer. Again, I keep having to say at the time of this recording, because this literally went live today, just like the shop qualifiers went live this morning. Hopefully, there's going to be a lot of updates to this next week, but like next week, I'll be opening my case and stuff. So I'll be doing other videos and other content. So I'm trying to get ahead of this so players can go talk to their local game store, because this is super, super important to get in front of them and make sure that they sign up. So again, the cool thing I will say is once you actually figure out what stores near you are hosting it, it does just automatically favorite your shop at the front. And I guess I will say I wish this is one thing that BTCG Plus did, because I think this is really nice. It shows exactly what your favorite store is. You can click into it, and then it also shows you upcoming events right at your landing page. In BTCG Plus, you do have to go like, I think it's 2 clicks deeper into the app or website, which is fine. I'm obviously splitting hairs here in terms of like things, improvements I'd like to see for each one, but I was really happy to see that Bushy Navi had this updated. And what's really cool about this is, yes, there's, you know, the tournaments you can find. Yes, it'll have store locators and stuff like that. But in the Japanese version for Shadowverse Evolve, they also introduce a ranking system. So similar to Flesh and Blood, if you're familiar with that game, they do have a ELO system built in. I don't know the finer points, because I think it was just announced but not officially public yet, and how they're going to do it for Shadowverse Evolve, but there is a ranking system. So that gives me a lot of hope that, you know, with them porting over Bushy Navi and having it be a landmark, you know, this is good to go day one, good to go, right? For Shadowverse Evolve, that we're going to hopefully see some of those same, you know, product feature enhancements roll over to the global version. And yes, this is available on the iOS and Android apps, so you can search the App Store and find it. But, you know, at least for me, the website navigation was a lot better. And then, of course, the other big one is like, yeah, I would love to have more information on this website. Like, just like, where's the promos? Where's other information? There's going to be more to come, right? Even on the main website, right? If you go to Shadowverse's main website today, it doesn't have this updated. We did get confirmation that they're going to update the Q&A and some other things on the 30th, which is when most likely the Evolve Companion app is going to go live. So yes, it's nice to see them getting ahead of this by a week. I just wish we had more information, more communication, but it's been pretty dang radio silent. But they're probably just trying to make sure all the, T's are crossed and I's are dotted leading into next week. So we have a meta. We have these major store events that you need to make sure you go talk to your LGS about. But what about some swag, right? So Shadowverse loves their cosmetics. And who doesn't love a sexy Albert, right? So there is a lot of great resources out there, or I should just say, swag that you can buy to bring a little bling to your local event level. Now, I gotta say, yes, these will, depending on which sets that you're looking for, they might take a little while to get to you. I will link my go-to website. I've pre-ordered a bunch of sleeves, but I personally use Ami Ami. I know Play Asia had a few things up there. Macari had a couple hit or miss things out there. Use those if you want, but in general, Ami Ami has been my go-to, and I have a bunch of sleeves, like I mentioned, pre-ordered. But I just want to say that for that one, I'll put a link to this below. Like, they have everything, and these are actually the series that I just pre-ordered. So, if you want to have a little swag with you and make sure that you got the best sleeves for your deck, or maybe you just want to match your leader sleeves to the deck that you're playing, things of that nature, by all means, Ami Ami is definitely the one to go for me. And, for a game that just is so focused on its cosmetics and having just really nice looking things in the game, it makes sense. So yes, this one's probably not nearly as important as the other two, but hey, why not just bling out your sleeves as well to go with all the shiny cardboard that you got protecting, right? And then, of course, if you buy any of these sleeves, definitely make sure to get some over sleeves or character guards for them. I know everyone loves KMCs. I personally love broccoli sleeves. Use whatever, that you like to use. That'd be my kind of go-to from there. So you can see there's 15 tabs here to go through. Now, to be fair, a lot of these are either orders are closed, you can't get them anymore, but there are some, like the Code Geass stuff, right? Like, there are still some of these available, so you will have to go through here, click to see which ones you want. Obviously, they have some play mats and other stuff. They have boxes for whatever reason when you want to buy a box, but otherwise, you can check eBay, but if you try to go the eBay route, prices will be most likely doubled, and that just feels terrible, right? Everyone knows how awful it is to try to buy things secondhand, and then you're paying like $45 or $50 for a playmat. Nobody wants that. Try to avoid it if you can. And then again, of course, like I ordered the Ginsetsu sleeves. Like, these are just absolutely gorgeous. Love these. So I cannot wait for these to come in. Again, they'll, send you an email when they're available. Obviously, late July here is the date. So, a month-ish from now at the time of recording, I'll eventually get them. And then, of course, I have my sleeves from my Japanese Shadowverse Evolve launch kit that I bought. Really excited to bring back the Lucifer sleeves. But overall, make sure you get you some good swag to go with it. So, with that all the way, shorter video today. I just want to put this on everyone's radar because it is super, super important, and I won't have time to do this next week. So what craft are you most excited for? Now, obviously, my plans going forward from there, I do plan to open up a case. I might be getting 2 cases. Honestly, I don't know how much product I'm getting at this point because the distributor has lost my sealed case, apparently. And unfortunately, I got hit by the Dancing Bear scam. So they said they're going to send me a case, but I don't know. And then one of my other stores is going to get all the starters, so I'll just buy one of each from them. The other thing I will mention is, yes, you do need to buy one starter deck for whichever craft you want to play. It comes with a leader card, which is mandatory for official play, and it does have exclusive cards that come in a play set that you will want because they're still good, like Dragon Oracles and Dragoncraft. Like, that card is still played 2 years. Well, that card's going to be played forever, and I'm sure the other 5 have equally meta relevant cards, so make sure you buy a starter. Yes, it is a little bit of a sticker shock when you see that $20 price tag initially, but it is a $20 one-time buy instead of the 12 to 15, and then you're paying like $30 to $45 depending on how many copies you have to buy. So it is cheaper in that regard, but obviously if you're in some areas where there might be some import tax and other things, you might be paying $25. It's even a little higher, and that's a bummer. So those all out of the way, what can we look forward to in the following week, right? So I will plan on doing a case break of some point. It'll probably just be like, I'll do the first box opening very slow. And then from there, it'll just be like a sped up video just to talk about ratios and things of that nature. I'm going to do a unboxing video for every single one of these starter decks and also include a meta relevant deck and I'll put it in English so it's not like the Japanese list you have to look over for. Like, I'm going to reformat all of those lists that are on that website I mentioned, just so they're easier to digest and players can, easily figure out what they need and what they don't need. So that will be a future project. So next week, it could be 7 or 8 videos. It just depends on how much I can get done over the weekend. So please look forward to that and make sure to subscribe for future Shadowverse Evolve content. So that said, outside of that initial huge dump of, videos that we get out of the way, I will be just doing probably 1 video a week for a versus video and maybe like an unboxing or discussion, every so often. Generally speaking, Battle Spirit Saga is still going to be the main focus for this channel. We have EX01 to look forward to next week as well. We have the spoilers that are going to be wrapping up. So that's 7 or 8 more videos I have to plan for. So there is a ton of content coming in the next effectively 2 weeks. I just have to find time to record it all. So again, please look forward to that and lots of good stuff to come. So with that, my friends, if you are going down to Ohio this weekend, hope to see you there. But otherwise, make sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.